Do you like to read and love to lead? Then you're going to love the Business Book Review. This week's book is Grit by Angela Duckworth. Now, before I even give one word on my thoughts about this book, I need to confess something. I started reading self-help books when I was 13 years old. Like most people even discover the concept, I was already a decade deep into self-help, and for the first half of my adult career, I was also in the field. So at age 55, I'm pretty burnt out on self-help. I find most of the writing to be kind of cliche and so idealistic that it can leave people who are genuinely struggling to feel like they're broken because it doesn't work for them. Also, on a side note, if you really do want to explore self-help books, read the Stoics. That shit is the OG of self-help. All of the modern books are just lighter versions of those writings. All right, back to Grit. I liked it. I didn't think I would. I thought it was going to be going on kind of like Carol Dweck's book Mindset, which, while I don't disagree with anything in that book, let's face it, that is a book that could have been a page. I was expecting this book to be the same. A lot of academic research talking about how some people have it and some people don't, and then the rest of the book would just keep kind of repeating the concept over and over in some other form or direction. And if I were being really critical, I might be able to even say that it did that, but it didn't feel like it. It explored grit from various angles, compared it to things like talent, resilience, and mindset, and then it looked at what causes some people to have it and others to lack it. So why is this in the Business Book Review? It's not a business book, it's a self-help book. Here's why, because I think that grit is lacking in a lot of younger generation. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to be employing them into your company. And I think that this book could share with you some ways to encourage your team to develop that grittiness that is necessary for all people to succeed in a company. I give it a 3 out of 5 head tilts. It's a good book. On the topic, it's a great book. But comparing it to all the other business books that I've read, it's not in my top 10. But I definitely recommend it every single day to somebody who struggles to stick with things or find themselves giving up a little bit too soon. And I think that's why it earns a spot in the Business Book Review. When you interview, do you look for talent? Duckworth would argue that it's more important to look for grittiness. And I think I would tend to agree after reading the book. Here are some excerpts from the book that I liked. Grit grows as we figure out our life philosophy. Learn to dust ourselves off after rejection and disappointment, and learn to tell the difference between low-level goals that should be abandoned quickly and higher-level goals that demand more tenacity. Passion for your work is a little bit of discovery followed by a lot of development and then a lifetime of deepening. As soon as possible, experts hungrily seek out feedback on how they did. Necessarily, much of that feedback is negative. This means that experts are more interested in what they did wrong so they can fix it than what they did right. The active processing of this feedback is as essential as its immediacy. The scientific research is very clear that experiencing trauma without control can be debilitating. But I also worry about people who cruise through life friction-free for a long time before encountering their first real failure. They have so little practice falling and getting up again. They have so many reasons to stick with a fixed mindset. I see a lot of invisibly vulnerable high achievers stumble in young adulthood and struggle to get up again. I call them the fragile perfects. Now, toward the end of the book, she addressed raising gritty children, and she shared the process that her and her husband used with their 2 daughters. She said that the first thing is that everyone, including mom and dad, they have to do a hard thing every day. A hard thing is something that requires daily deliberate practice. She told her kids that psychological research is her hard thing, plus she also practiced yoga, and I think her husband tried to get better every day at being a real estate developer, and he did the same thing with running. Her oldest daughter, Amanda, chose playing the piano as her hard thing, and before that she had done ballet for years, but then later quit, and I believe her other daughter, Lucy, did that as well. And she addressed, by the way, that it's okay to quit too, but not until the commitment is over. So for example, if your hard thing is after school football, you can quit at the end of the season, not during when it gets tough. I thought that was a really cool strategy to help raise gritty kids, but frankly, I personally found it to be a pretty good practice for me as an adult. So if you think that you could use a bit more grittiness in your life, get the book. If you employ people and notice that they don't have a strong level of commitment, maybe get them a copy. But let me know what you think. If you do get a copy, come back and share in the comments some of your favorite pieces of the book so we can all benefit. Also, feel free to share in the comments books that you think I might like. You know, some of my favorite books of all time I learned about from people that I respect. So your opinion is valued to me. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I'd be honored if you like the video and subscribe as well so that when I release another book review, you'll be one of the first to know. And if you do enjoy these business book reviews, I think you would love my business book scorecard. It's a free Q&A that takes just a few minutes, and at the end, you'll get a list of the top 10 books for you specific to where you're at on the entrepreneurial journey. The reality is all books can be a 5 out of 5 if you read them at the right time in your business development. I mean, why waste time reading books that don't apply directly to you? I've already sorted through over 500 business books to share with you the top 10 books that apply directly to you. It's fast, it's free, and the link is inside the description. Until the next review, let's both try a little harder to be a little better. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch that book review. If you liked it, I think you might like this one as well. Check it out.